Hello, ladies and gentlemen. A smart woman follows these 5 rules. Let me start by saying this: being a smart woman isn't about having all the answers. It's about showing up, making choices that align with your values, and being brave enough to stand in your truth. Today, I want to share 5 simple but powerful rules that every smart woman lives by. Rule 1, choose courage over comfort. Rule 2, own your story. Rule 3, set boundaries with grace. Rule 4, prioritize self-compassion. Rule 5, stay curious and keep learning. Let's talk about courage, the kind of courage that asks you to step outside your comfort zone, to face uncertainty, and to take risks that might not come with guaranteed outcomes. This kind of courage isn't about fearlessness, it's about being willing to move forward, even when fear is sitting right beside you. Choosing courage over comfort is not always an easy choice. Comfort feels safe, it feels familiar. But comfort can also be a trap. It whispers to us, stay here, don't risk it, don't try. And while comfort may protect us from failure or rejection, it also keeps us from growth, discovery, and reaching our full potential. A smart woman understands that courage is the bridge between where she is and where she wants to be. Courage is saying yes to the promotion when you're not sure you're ready. It's speaking up in a room where your voice feels small. It's walking away from a relationship, a job, or a situation that no longer serves you, even when staying feels easier. Courage over comfort means embracing vulnerability. And let's be honest, vulnerability is scary. It's the moment before you send the email pitching your big idea. It's putting yourself out there for an opportunity, knowing there's a chance of hearing no. It's admitting you need help or sharing how you really feel. These are not moments of weakness, they are moments of strength. They are proof that you are willing to try, willing to be seen, and willing to grow. When we choose courage, we give ourselves permission to fail. But in doing so, we also give ourselves permission to succeed. Every time we take a step into the unknown, we build resilience. We teach ourselves that we can survive the discomfort, that we are capable of handling more than we thought. And every time we succeed, even in small ways, we gain confidence to take the next courageous step. But let me tell you something else about courage is contagious. When you choose courage over comfort, you give others around you permission to do the same. Your bravery becomes a beacon, inspiring those who see you to face their own fears and take their own leaps. So how do we choose courage over comfort in everyday life? Start small. Take one step towards something that scares you but excites you. Maybe it's sharing your opinion in a meeting. Maybe it's trying something new, like a hobby you've always been curious about. The size of the step doesn't matter as much as the act of taking it. Remember, courage isn't a one-time decision. It's a daily practice. It's about showing up over and over again, even when the outcome isn't guaranteed. It's about trusting yourself to handle whatever happens next. A smart woman knows that comfort may feel good in the moment, but courage builds a life that feels good in the long run. So let's be brave. Let's be brave. Let's take the leap. Let's choose courage over comfort and watch how our lives transform. Let's talk about authenticity, the art of being unapologetically yourself in a world that often tells you to be someone else. Authenticity is not about perfection. It's about embracing who you truly are, imperfections and all. And in that embrace lies incredible power. A smart woman understands that authenticity isn't just about being honest with others, it starts with being honest with yourself. It's taking a hard look at your values, your dreams, and even your fears, and owning them without shame. It's asking yourself, who am I, when no one is watching, and living in alignment with that answer, even when the world tries to nudge you in a different direction. In a society that thrives on comparison and curated perfection, authenticity can feel like a rebellious act. We're surrounded by messages telling us to fit in, to look a certain way, or to follow a specific path. But a smart woman knows that true belonging only comes when you stop trying to fit in and start showing up as your whole, unfiltered self. Because fitting in is about changing yourself to be accepted, while belonging is about being accepted for who you are. Authenticity is a superpower because it builds trust and connection. Think about the people who inspire you most. Are they perfect? No. But they're real. They're honest about their struggles, their victories, and everything in between. When you're authentic, you invite others to do the same. You create a space where vulnerability is welcome, where walls come down, and where meaningful relationships can thrive. But let's be clear, authenticity isn't always easy. It requires courage, especially in moments when being yourself feels risky. It might mean speaking up when your opinion is unpopular, saying no to something that doesn't align with your values, or sharing your story even when you're afraid of judgment. It's in these moments that authenticity becomes a powerful act of self-respect. Being authentic doesn't mean you're immune to criticism or rejection. In fact, there will always be people who don't understand or appreciate the real you. But here's the thing, their opinion doesn't define your worth. A smart woman knows that her value isn't determined by how many people like her, but by how true she is to herself. So how do we cultivate authenticity? Start by letting go of the need for approval. You don't need to be everyone's cup of tea, you just need to be your own. Next, practice self-compassion. Authenticity is messy, and that's okay. Give yourself permission to be imperfect. Finally, surround yourself with people who celebrate you for who you are, not who they want you to be. Authenticity is your superpower because no one else can be you. When you embrace your true self, you bring something unique to the world that only you can offer. And in doing so, you give others permission to do the same. That is the power of showing up as your authentic self. Boundaries, let's talk about them. For many of us, the word boundary can feel uncomfortable. It might conjure up images of walls, barriers, or shutting people out. But a smart woman knows that boundaries are not about exclusion, they're about creating space for respect, trust, and connection. Boundaries, when done right, are bridges, not barriers. At its core, setting boundaries is an act of self-respect. It's about defining what is okay and what isn't, and then communicating those limits with clarity and kindness. A smart woman understands that her time, energy, and emotions are not infinite resources to be spent at the expense of her well-being. By setting boundaries, she protects those resources, ensuring she can show up fully and authentically in the areas of her life that matter most. But let's face it, setting boundaries can be hard. It often involves difficult conversations, the risk of disappointing others, and the fear of being seen as selfish or unkind. Here's the truth, setting boundaries is neither selfish nor unkind. It's one of the most loving things you can do for yourself and for the people around you. When you set boundaries, you teach others how to treat you. You show them what respect looks like in your relationship. You also create a foundation for healthier interactions where both parties feel valued and understood. Without boundaries, resentment builds, communication breaks down, and relationships suffer. But with boundaries, trust and mutual respect flourish. Boundaries are also about saying no when you need to. Many of us are conditioned to say yes to everything, fearing that no will make us seem difficult, unhelpful, or ungrateful. But a smart woman knows that every time she says yes to something that doesn't align with her priorities, she's saying no to something that does. Saying no is not about rejection, it's about honoring your commitments to yourself. Now, setting boundaries is one thing, enforcing them is another. People may push back when you start to establish limits, especially if they've benefited from your lack of boundaries in the past. But a smart woman stands firm. She knows that enforcing her boundaries isn't about controlling others, it's about staying true to herself. Here's the key: boundaries are most effective when they're communicated with grace and clarity. It's not about accusing or blaming, it's about expressing your needs. For example, instead of saying your needs, instead of saying you never listen to me, try, I feel heard and valued when we both take turns sharing our thoughts. Instead of stop calling me all the time, say, I'd appreciate it if we could set a time to talk that works for both of us. Finally, remember that boundaries are dynamic. They can shift as your circumstances, relationships, and priorities change. A smart woman is not afraid to reassess her boundaries and adjust them as needed. When you set boundaries, you give yourself the freedom to live a life that aligns with your values. You teach others that you value yourself. And in doing so, you inspire them to do the same. Boundaries are not barriers, they're bridges to healthier relationships, deeper connections, and a more fulfilling life. We've explored the principles that define a smart woman: courage over comfort, authenticity as a superpower, and boundaries as bridges. These are not just rules to live by, they are a roadmap to a life of fulfillment, purpose, and impact. Choosing courage over comfort empowers us to step into the unknown, to grow, and to become stronger with every challenge we face. Embracing authenticity reminds us that our uniqueness is our gift, and being true to ourselves is what fosters real connection and belonging. Setting boundaries teaches us to protect our energy and prioritize respect, ensuring that our relationships are built on mutual understanding and care. These principles are not about perfection, they're about practice. They're about showing up every day, even when it's hard, and committing to a life that feels aligned with who you truly are. To every woman listening, you are already equipped with everything you need to live boldly, authentically, and unapologetically. Your courage, your voice, and your boundaries have the power to shape not just your own life, but also the lives of those around you. So as you walk out of here today, remember these rules. Let them guide your choices, fuel your confidence, and remind you of the incredible strength you carry within. You are smart, you are capable, and you are enough. Thank you.